the crowded coastline behind, regional and outback Australia offer unlimited choices for pilots to explore our country from the air. With its vast distances, great climate and blissfully uncrowded skies, it's widely considered a fantastic place to fly. In this series, we follow a VFR flight through some pretty remote areas of Australia, landing at over a dozen different aerodromes and flying through all sorts of different airspace. Along the way, we'll give you plenty of extra information on our safety topics page. Our pilot, Sally Ann Ward, is a chief flying instructor with a wealth of experience flying in the outback. Sally Ann has been planning this trip for several weeks, taking time to consider all the what-ifs. As well as checking the weather and NOTAMs and ensuring she has current maps and charts, she's also making use of the visual pilot guides and CASA's online program On Track. The aircraft you choose is also important, so we're flying in a relatively new Cessna 172. And after checking the maintenance release, Sally Ann's opted to have a scheduled oil change done and also had the aircraft fully checked by a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer. Our presenter, Alex Bortoli, is accompanying Sally Ann on the trip, and it's his first time in a small aircraft, so she's given him a full brief, including what to wear. It's vital you dress for the terrain you're flying over and not your destination. Sally Ann's lodged her flight plan via NAPES, and the updated weather report looks good. She's refueled the aircraft and completed her daily inspection and final checks, so they're ready to go.
Alright, well, we've just taken off from Bathurst. We're on an aircraft adventure that's going to take in 17 aerodromes in 4 different states. I'm excited. How are you, Sal?
Yeah, it's like the grand tour of Australia.
And listen, the first stop I think we're making is in Griffith, is that right?
Yeah, we're going to stop there and refuel and also have some lunch. Then we'll continue on to Broken Hill.
And the weather's actually looking pretty good ahead of us.
It's looking fantastic.
Nearing Griffith, Sally Ann hears a Rex aircraft on the radio. Non-towered aerodromes can get busy, so it's vital you use your radio and make sure you understand the position and intentions of other traffic.
Echo Delta Delta, break calls traffic at Griffith. Echo Delta Delta, Cessna 172 is joining downwind runway 06 for a full stop.
Echo Delta Delta, Rex 467 on the CTAP, just confirm you're for a full stop, eh?
A firm, Echo Delta Delta's late downwind runway 06 for a full stop.
Outstanding. If you keep it tight, we should be right. Thanks for that.
In the planning stage, Sally Ann made sure of the best places to stop for refuelling. She had originally planned to stop at Condobolin, but discovered the availability of fuel was limited, so she opted for Griffith. Don't forget to carry your credit card or Carnet cards, and remember, fuel isn't available everywhere, so always phone ahead and check your URSA.
We've just left Griffith and we're on our way the long lake to Broken Hill. What are some of the issues we have to consider? Sal?
I'm looking for, Alex, is that I establish I'm on track as early as possible. In doing so, I'm using visual reference to features on the ground using my map, and I'm using the VOR as a backup to establish whether we've got any drift on this leg of the flight. It's important to get on track as early as possible to minimise any errors because it's such a long leg.
So which nav aid were you using then?
We're using the GRIFFITH VOR, and then when we get closer and in range to Broken Hill, we'll pick up their VOR. The VOR is great to use to establish what heading we should take up to keep us on track.
So what about your GPS? Why don't you use that more often?
You're a VFR pilot, you need to be carrying all your maps and documents and actively navigating using those. A GPS is a good resource to find where you are exactly on the map. You shouldn't just be using that as a sole means of navigation.
Break to Cessna 170 Echo Delta Deltas, approaching 5 miles.
Magnus Badger is the senior base pilot at the Royal Flying Doctor Base at Broken Hill and has many years' experience flying emergency and routine aeromedical services in the outback and knows the importance of being prepared for all situations.
Yeah, the best time of the year to come through the outback regions is the winter time. It's cooler and the weather's usually good. Always make sure, summer or winter, that you carry plenty of water, have a good emergency ration kit on board the aeroplane. The dust storms usually occur in the summer months. The visibility can go right down to 100 metres. During the winter, there's quite a lot of fog, especially here in Broken Hill.
As the crew flies northwest from Broken Hill, the track takes them over some fairly featureless terrain, without the usual landmarks to help them with visual navigation. Sally Ann points out natural features to look out for, like lines of bush or trees indicating the flow of a river at some time, a row of low hills, and even large homesteads that are often marked on your map.
Is there any distinguishing features that we're going to be flying over today?
These Monday planes, we will pick up and fly over the top of Lake From. Then we should be able to see the Flinders Ranges on our nose, so we're just going to be stopping on the eastern side, the Flinders Ranges.
So it's really important to stay focused on this section because it would be easy to drift.
Like every section, it's important to stay focused.
ARKAROOLA, Cessna 172 Echo Delta Delta, 10 miles on the Broken Hill ARKAROOLA track, on descent passing through 3000, estimating the circuit area at time 23.
So what I'm going to do is just make a pass at about 50 feet just to check out the surface.
What else are you looking for?
I'll be looking for obstacles, any dangers, and basically anything you might have to add to an insurance claim.
Commercial pilot Doug Sprigg is the owner of ARKAROOLA and an experienced bush pilot who's always willing to share his knowledge.
So Doug, you were saying that there's some special aspects of landing on this runway out here at ARKAROOLA. I guess the other important thing is tyres.
Absolutely, yeah. As well as the amount of rubber you got, the tyre inflation. I've seen lots of aircraft come through with tyres that are below pressure and
Right.
Planes that have been left for a while. They're natural rubber tubes and tyres. I guess with cars we're used to tyres that stay up, but aircraft tyres do go down over time. And the drag goes up, and that's particularly bad for takeoff, because you're going to extend your takeoff run. If it's a shorter strip, you're expecting to get off at a certain distance and you don't. It could be catastrophic.
Al, I noticed after we finished talking with Doug, you were pretty keen to get away.
Yep, that's right. I was really conscious that about last night. And often what happens is that everyone, about that 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you sort of think you've got hours to go before the sun goes down, but we've still got 2 hours flying to go, and hopefully we'll get in there about a good half an hour before last light.
So, will they make it into William Creek by last light? Make sure you watch the next episode to find out, and you'll discover why this tiny outback town has become an aviation mecca. As you'll discover, this video is only part of the experience. You'll find lots of extra information on our Safety Topics page. This is where topics will be covered in more detail with useful links, great images and extra videos. More and more topics will be released after you've watched each episode, so make sure you check it out.